Hello, this is honestly a video about the new and recent chapter of One Piece. Now, my basically basically my thoughts on the chapter, it was very interesting and it was immensely epic, especially with the great reveal of Kaido being basically his devil fruit being a dragon type devil fruit of Zone. And another thing I would say is there are other topics that I would like to point out in basically this recent chapter of One Piece, which has, as usual, basically um, basically just surpassed all my expectations of the series itself. Even me calling myself as a ride to die straw hat fan type of man slash fanboy, I will say that it was very great and just astonishing on how basically the whole thing came together in one place in just one place like that in one chapter. Now, the topics that I will talk about, I will first foreshadow and reference. It would be just the fact of, well, just different things. First thing would be, of course, this video is mainly talking about Kaido and his devil fruit and what I theorized in my hypothesis on what I think basically the fruit can do and what are the extended uses that can be used in the fruit. And another thing that I would like to talk about in the future or the next video pertaining to this would be Frankie Frankie getting his hands on possibly Kaido's like hideout slash building blueprints, because I said for real, I feel like that will come in handy in a sense for the Straw Hats, because in a sense Sunny, it's very durable, especially on what type of wood it is created. But at the same time, after the Whole Cake Island arc and Big Mom, in a sense, like basically trashing it a little bit, I would say that honestly, the blueprints might be very useful to help upgrade the ship even more. There even some type of hypothesis in the whole One Piece fandom that maybe Frankie used bits and pieces of the Bluton blueprints for the Sunny Go itself, but that's a whole nother can of worms that's something else. Let's get into Kaido. So my theories on Kaido's devil fruit is, well, one, I would like to say this. It is badass, it is epic, and it is immensely just a work of art the way it is. Now, what basically really does interest me about Kaido's fruit is how he looks. He looks like a traditional Chinese or Japanese like dragon, and even other people even reference the fact that his form kind of looks godly in a sense. And even besides it looking godly, it's just the fact of even people even um, reference Dragon Ball slash Dragon Ball Z references to the Almighty Shinron from the Dragon Balls, and um, that those type of statements, in a sense, kind of got me thinking. What if his dough fruit had something to do with like either create the creation of the devil fruits or the procreation of the devil fruits? And let me explain. Creation, I would like to say, is basically devil fruits like Kaido, there might have been like different devil fruits a long time, devil fruit users a long time ago, hypothetically, similar to Kaido, and they could have helped jump started um like the whole devil fruits being born, or even the trees itself being born, one way or the other. Because here's another thing that most people 50-50 probably forgot in social media when it comes to like referencing Shinron, is the fact that Shinron is no mere godly entity. Yes, he's a godly entity in a sense, but you also had a creator or had a procreator to help him come to existence. Ergo, the Namekian race. The Namekian race basically helped create Shinron, and there are two types of Shinrons that we have seen in the Dragon Ball universe, and that is the Namekian Shinron, which looks like a freaking genie when you're on planet Namek, and another thing, if I had to point something out, it would be just those Dragon Balls are massively big. Those things look like you have to like literally carry them like under your armpits and stuff. They're pretty big. They're just pretty goddamn big. Like massive in a sense. On just big enough for you to like carry them under your armpits and do whatever. Versus our always known custom made balls in our universe, which is Earth. They are basically palm size. You can find them anywhere, and they're palm size, and they're easy. But besides all that, long story short, the Dragon Balls were created by the Namekians. Ergo, you have Shinron, and even Shinron has his limitations in a sense of different ways. Like for example, there were basically times where some fighters like Krillin even had a curious question asked to, like, why don't we use the balls to wish away Frieza to die or something like that, and Shinron replies saying that I can only do something that's within my power in a sense. Now he's a godly entity, but he still has limitations in a sense. Now that's where I kind of point out where it's like, again, what if Kaido's devil fruit type innocence did help procreate or create the devil fruits? Now procreate now basically I would say create, I would say maybe if I had to say something about create, it would be probably just by the dirt. Maybe his type of devil fruit had to do with like creating the seeds of creating trees for devil fruits to like cultivate in and just slowly grow. Another idea or another hypothesis I think of when it comes to procreating would be just maybe devil fruits were in a sense there, but then maybe he his type of fruit helped somehow like manifest the abilities of a devil fruit user. If I had to explain it in simpler terms, basically we had fruits. Fruits are always always a physical thing that you can have all the time in a normal universe or in a normal world in general, especially in One Piece. I mean, look at Nami's backstory was her revolving around tangerines and whatnot. Now, hypothetically, what if back in history time, what if back in those days you just had normal fruits and you had certain devil fruit users like like basically Kaido, and he somehow like basically spawned some of his like essence as a dragon in a sense to, inside the fruit in different ways. Even in back in Warrior 7, they have said back in Warrior 7 that a devil fruit's essence is, yeah, devil fruits have essences in them. That's how you have like different abilities inside of them. Basically, essence of the devil per se. I would like to say the essence of different like abilities because you truly do have different like abilities in different devil fruits. Aside from all that, another piece of evidence that I would like to say about the creation or procreation of devil fruits, it would be just honestly there are other types of devil fruits that have different types of longevity in their abilities. For example, Law's fruit basically grants people immortality, and even we don't even know how far immortality it can be. It can be either you can be indestructible, vulnerable, like similar to how Jack is or Kaido is in a sense, or you could be indestructible from any type of common disease and whatnot, but still can die or withstand some type of fatal wound, and it can still kill you in one shot, one way or the other. Those are just different hypotheses. Now, Law's Devil Fruit is a paramecia itself, but it still has a godlike ability that allows the user to grant somebody else immortality. And that's what I mean by there could be a possibility for Kaido's fruit being the jumpstart to all Devil fruits being created. Another example would be, honestly, let me think, would be like Marco's fruit being the Phoenix, and or Son Go, I apologize, Son Goku's Devil fruit being like a Buddha, the ancient Buddha. And both fruits, even though despite them being zone types, they are still mythological zone types with different types of longevities um, in their capabilities. Son Goku's still a fruit. He still looks like him in the sense only in a Buddha like type of format or stature. And then there is Marcos, besides him being a phoenix, he has all the abilities of being a phoenix. Whether him taking like hard, heavy hits and still coming back from, per se, play on words, to ashes from the heavy hit that he has encountered. And then even in certain games like One Piece Burning Blood, we have seen that basically he can either regenerate. Well, most zone types can regenerate. That's a common thing. But even besides regeneration, he can also, like, in a sense, like phase through attacks, kind of like a Logia. So again, those are different longevities of their abilities. Now, all three of those fruits, in different ways, they have different types of longevities and different types of facts about them that can be used in different ways, which is immensely interesting and why I still think over the fact of what if Kaido's fruit has something to do with the procreation or the real creation of all devil fruits itself. Now, I will admit, there are other hypotheses and ideas, and even I even dare say foreshadows over different things um, in the One Piece world that kind of, like, how should I say this, kind of rivals the idea that Kaido's devil fruit did help procreate or create the devil fruits. But at the same time, it's basically an interesting thing to think about in a sense, because anything is possible in One Piece, especially when it comes to natural causes. I mean, you have literally the undertone of a devil fruit giving a person the ability to time travel in different ways. And even in those natural causes, I thought time travel, even before they confirmed that it was because of a devil fruit, I thought it was also other natural causes that Kimimon and Momonosuke and all the other samurai traveled through time in different ways. Because if you think about it, there are other natural means to do whatever you want in One Piece. For example, how the Straw Hats even went to Wano. Two big carps actually carried the whole Sunny all the way up to the borders of Wano safely there. Yes, the Straw Hats had to scramble and think of a way to like get there safely their own ways because of certain like how should like certain water occurrences, dangerous water occurrences around the borders of Wano. But even besides that, they still safe. The carp still safely brought them across um, the waters all the way up to the borders of Wano itself. Nonetheless, and another natural cause of a cause and effect of something would be honestly Sky Island for another example. The how should I say this? I would like to say the skyways or sky water geyser that the Straw Hats used to basically get a one shot all the way up to Skyapea, and that helped them like get there safely as well too. Yes, admittedly, that way was pretty risky if they didn't try to rearrange the merry-go at the time, but at the same time, it was still nonetheless a very natural um, option to take in order to go to Skyapea. But aside from that, that's basic. That's basically my theory on Kaido's devil fruit. Anything else about his devil fruit? I would like to say that besides it being naturally badass in full scale form as a dragon, I would like to say maybe when it comes to his man, his like half man, half zone type form, it most likely would be badass to see in a sense because by the end of the day, that's another thing what most normal full type zones can do is if they choose to, they can basically um, morph their bodies have they can morph their bodies halfway into a zone, but still have their man like traits with them as well too. Not like messed up zone types like artificial zone type like the gifters and whatnot. No, they are nope. No, those are atrocities. Even Oda keep on pointing that out, saying they are literally atrocities all over the place. But besides from that, that is my video. Please leave a like. Please have comments over your thoughts, and also please subscribe if you like my video and also my future videos that I will create. Thank you. Bye.